Hey, what's up everybody? It's George here. We're back with another video. Now today's video is build video number 7 in the Goblin 500 series. We've stepped away from the bench so I can talk about a few updates and review a few things before we move on to chapter 11 in the book. First, let's talk about the updates. As you know, I chose the AR-7200BX as the receiver I was going to use with this project. I went online. I found that the average cost was about $240. I was just about to place my order and I remembered I can order a Blade 300X, which has the AR-7200BX in it, for $299. What I would wind up with is a whole nother Blade 300X as a backup and an AR-7200 that I can use for this project, and that's what I did. I also made a decision on the batteries. I went with Pulse. I've had good luck with them in the past. They get good reviews. I went with the Ultra series. I got a 4100. I'm sure it's going to be more than enough for what I need. Now let's get on to what they want us to do in Chapter 11, which is install the ESC. I chose the Castle Talon 90 ESC, and it does not have motor leads. It accepts the motor leads via the bullets. Unfortunately, my motor leads are not long enough, so I'm going to have to make some extension cables. I'm also going to have to extend the signal wire for the throttle back to the receiver because it's not long enough as well. And I need to solder EC3 connectors on the battery, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done before we can actually begin Chapter 11, which is installing the ESC. Why don't we go ahead and take a walk over to the bench and see what I've got set up. Okay, I have everything set up and I'm ready to go. Let's go ahead and look at my setup real quick. There is no manual because this step is not in the manual. These are the tools that I'll be using. I'll be using a set of wire strippers that has a wire cutter built in and a crimping tool for making the extension cable for the signal wire. I'll be using my digital soldering station. This is very nice because it has adjustable temperature, adjustable wattage. You can really set it the way you want to get a very good solder joint. I use several jigs. This first jig right here works real good with EC3 connectors and the battery leads. This one works really well with the inline connectors, with the bullet connectors, and I'll be using that. And I have my helping hands to hold wires out of the way while I'm soldering and get everything in the right position. I also have some flux that I use when I'm soldering. I make sure that I keep everything fluxed up. Here's all the things that I'm going to be soldering today. Let me go ahead and go over them real quick. This wire right here is to extend the signal cable, and those are the connectors for it that I'll be crimping on. This wire and these bullet connectors are to connect up to the motor, and then the connectors for the motor to the ESC. They're all right there. I have the EC3s. The one EC3 goes on the ESC, and the remainder go on the batteries. I have everything laid out and ready to go, and I have the batteries ready to go as well. So why don't we go ahead and get on to the soldering. Let me put this thing up on the tripod and we'll continue from there. Okay, so we're all ready to get started soldering, and I'm not going to make you watch the boring soldering job. I'm not going to speed through it. I'm just going to go ahead and cut straight to the chase. We'll get to the end and we'll look at the finished product. But what I will do is I will leave the timer running because this is actually build time and really should be applied toward the total build. So let's go ahead and start soldering. Okay, all done. Let me show you what we have. First, we have this extender cable that I made. This is going to go from the ESC to the receiver, and it's the throttle signal cable. It's basically just a servo extension cable. Next, I went ahead and I put the bullet connectors on the motor, put some shrink wrap, keep everything nice and neat. These are the connectors that will connect up to the extension cables that I made. I made these extension cables. On one end is the bullet connectors that will connect up to the motor, and on the other end is the proprietary connector that will connect up to the ESC. I also put shrink wrap and kept everything nice and neat. On the ESC, I put the EC3 connector on. Put some shrink wrap, try to keep everything nice and neat. Made sure that all of my solder joints were good, no cold solders, everything went well. I also put the EC3 connectors on both of these Pulse batteries. So these are all ready to go now. And that pretty much finishes up all the maintenance and everything that I needed to do so we can actually get on with Chapter 11, which is installing the ESC. I'll be doing that in the next video and wrapping this video up. So thanks for watching, and as always, happy flying, friends.